What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. Hope everybody's doing well, and let's dive straight into things. So today I did copy my trades into a demo, so when I placed them I also placed them in the demo so that I could come back and show you guys today in terms of delivery, because it was very smooth. And it gets a bit complicated on GBP and Euro because I didn't realize I was already in a position on my paper trading account, so I had to like close and open it again. I'll show you what I mean, but my point is we're really going to be able to dive in and see my entry, and hopefully you guys can get an understanding of how I was able to get on the right side of the market at the right time. And obviously if you watch yesterday's video, you'll be privy to understanding that we expected price to trade lower today. We wanted to see us trade into this fair value gap from the 4 hour, I believe. Into this 4 hour fair value gap. We've actually traded through it, which is quite interesting, and now we're just going to obviously hold for a little bit before I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another continuation. So here is the entry. Let's go to the hourly, and you'll see that I entered at 3 a.m, which is London time. So anytime I enter, it tends to be during London session, with the expectation that London will make the high, and then we'll see the low get created during the New York session. That's exactly what happened. Created the high at 3 a.m, which is classic, and then price traded lower for the rest of the day into our targeted fair value gap. So yeah, beautiful entry. And look at this. I didn't enter right as it traded into it, but if you watch yesterday's video, you'll remember me speaking about this low, and you'll see how price tapped into it right there. So that's why within this hour I was confident that price was going to be able to trade into it. Now obviously I don't trade dollar, I just done this to show you guys for context where I'd be looking for longs, and you'll see that GBP and Euro were inverted. But my point is, London session, we're above the Asian range. It's traded into the level which I anticipated it to trade into during London, and then we had a beautiful break in market structure right here, traded back. This could have been another entry right here if you wanted to stack your trade. That would have been another entry here at 9 a.m. Again, very classic. And then you could have gone short and either took a position out below this low or held onto it like I did with the expectation that we're going to fill this. But I got out a bit later just because I wasn't keeping an eye on the charts, to be honest. So yeah, really gorgeous day, really gorgeous delivery. And now what? Well, now that we've traded through this fair value gap on the downside, I'm going to drag this through into Wednesday. I'm going to copy this over as well. And then now I'm anticipating... And now what I'm anticipating is that this fair value gap should now act as resistance, because now that we delivered on the downside and closed below it, the 50% level of that should act as resistance. Similar to what we saw happen in here, as in I was expecting this range to act as resistance. It did essentially. It just tapped into this, giving us a nice premium and then traded lower. So again, if we see any kind of rallying into here, maybe creating the high in London again, I'd want to see price continue to roll over to the downside, and then my next target will simply be this low right here. So I'm just expecting a continuation really. I'm not expecting us to retrace, I'm not expecting a reversal, but I am going to be a lot more wary, and I probably won't trade as much tomorrow just because of how much movement we've already had since the beginning of the week. As soon as we opened, price has been trading lower. So when we've had 2 days back to back like this, we need to be very cautious that eventually we are going to have some kind of retracement or some kind of heavy consolidation for price to catch itself and for it to build in orders. So yeah, pretty basic, but overall everything I need to know is basically just here. I'm just looking at this range and I want to see this active resistance. If we manage to trade through it, whole different story. Then I can start looking at premium fair value gaps like here, or maybe even above here, but it'll take a lot for that. So that's why I'm anticipating that this should be enough to resist, to help turn away price, to help send it lower and take out our lows here. So let's go on to GBPUSD, and here's what I'm saying in terms of the confusion. So I actually entered the position all the way back on the 2nd of July. I forgot I entered it, but obviously I was expecting price to be short, and then you can see price did deliver to the downside. And then it wasn't till today when I was going long that I forgot that I didn't even close my position on pound. So it was convenient because obviously that would have been a beautiful move to get in on. But nonetheless, that's why when I went long here, it closed that position. So that means that when I wanted to close this position, I had to open it and close it. Long story, but my point is, again, we went long 3 a.m. It traded down into the range, which I drew our attention to. And then we had a large expansion, classic. And then we reached into our fair value gap. And as soon as I saw that we were in our fair value gap, that's when I wanted to close the position right here. And that's what happened. So we closed above here. So again, moving into tomorrow. And it's beautiful to see, by the way, that we hit the 50% level right here as well, right to the pip. You can't make that stuff up. And this is the beauty of the markets, as in the algorithmic side of the markets. When you understand this, it makes trading way more hopeful, so to speak, way more understanding, because it's very easy to just lose hope and think, oh, it's impossible and whatnot. But when you see it deliver like this, and it's smooth and it's quick and it's giving you the low in the London and it's just going along with everything that you anticipate, it really makes things a lot more better and easier to trade. But nonetheless, obviously, if I'm expecting dollars to continue to roll over to the downside, I'd like to think that on Wednesday we can see pound keep pushing into the buy side. We do have a fair value gap which has formed now on the hourly, so I'll drag that through, and ideally price doesn't trade any lower than this, so we'll make this black for now. And as far as I'm concerned, that can create a low at the most for tomorrow. If it does want to even go down there, and then I want to see price continue to expand. Now I'm not expecting the same amount of expansion, but it'd be nice to see if we can start pushing up into premiums. I'm going to get rid of this massive range just to clear things up a bit, and I have got my eyes on this high right here. Well, this gap, there's a gap between this high and here, so really I'm looking to see if price can get itself up into there if we are going to have a nice continuation. And you can see there's buyer stops above here, etc. But other than that, this fair value gap, I want it to hold price. If it drops through it, a whole different story. I probably won't get involved and it'll probably consolidate a little bit, but ideally it can hold price, and then we can see it continue to march on up. But yeah, beautiful day. It didn't move as much as it did on euro, so that's quite interesting to see. But nonetheless, I'd like to think that the Asia range will be pretty simple, just like what we had yesterday. Asia range took out the lows, took out the highs, came back to the 50, came back and then used it as a springboard for price. So I'd like to think it will continue to use it as a springboard for price. Now you could argue, why didn't I just hold the position? Because this is enough, guys. Like, you know, we need to make sure we don't be greedy. Now, what I could have done is close out half the position and then maybe move my stop up to here, which is another way of trading. But, you know, there's different ways we can approach it. But yeah, beautiful movement right there. And EURUSD as well. And again, the same thing happened. I entered a short position on euro ages ago, 2nd of July. And then it only closed it now because I remember that it was open. So something to take note of as to why there's two different positions right here. But nonetheless, again, 3 a.m. 3:15 went long, and because it was respecting the 50, see how it's respecting the 50% level of this range, and it was bouncing on top of it. That's what gave me the confidence to be able to go long. And then we tapped down there one more time. Stop loss was below this order block because I'm not anticipating price to break that, and if it did, I don't want to be involved. And then obviously I had this buy side liquidity which I spoke about yesterday, and we actually reached a little bit quite nicely higher than that into this range right here, and just tapped into that like so. So again, similarly, I'm not expecting much tomorrow. Ideally we can continue to see more rallying, as in I'd like to see if we can hit this high above here. That'd be nice, but we need to be patient. And then obviously on the 15-minute we're kind of just range bound right now, so I don't really want to see price drop off too much. I want to see us continue to rally on, assuming that dollar does. But to be honest, I'm just going to let the price do its thing on Wednesday, especially when you've got movement Monday and Tuesday so large. I tend to just let I think it's better that I just let Wednesday do its thing and then Thursday get back in. Yeah, otherwise that's going to be me getting greedy, and it's easy to get carried away, and that's where you get slaughtered, as you know. So something to take into account. But nonetheless, the lowest I'd want to see price trade tomorrow. Let's go to the 4 hour actually. We obviously have this massive gap, but ideally price doesn't even tap into it. I'd like to think that price will be able to hold itself. Let's see on the hourly. Oh, excuse me. Again, another fair value gap down there. There's not really, to be honest, there's no reason that price should need to come all the way down here, because if it does, the next, you know, clear gap I see is all the way down here. And don't get me wrong, price can go down there, that's fine. It's just that I wouldn't be trading off the back of it. I'll just let it trade to it basically, because it'll probably hang around, like I said, in that range between this low and this high if it gets down here. So that's just something to take into account. But other than that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm liking the way that this bullish order block's holding price right now, as we've tapped into it here. So again, I want to see if price can continue to, you know, hover around above it so that we can keep pushing up into the premium, and then I'm looking at this level as a target. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Do go check out yesterday's video if you haven't yet, and it'll be very clear. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list. All the links are in the description. And I'm not going to be able to post tomorrow because I'm in London, which is fun, but I should be back online Thursday, so that should be interesting. Or just join the Discord or drop a comment and I should be able to get back to you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Thursday. Peace.